You know what nobody tells you about divorce? Your ex-wife is about to walk straight into a psychological minefield that she spent years convincing herself doesn't exist. I'm not talking about some calmer fantasy where she suddenly realizes what she lost and comes crying back. No, this is something much deeper, much more brutal. It's about what happens when someone trades certainty for illusion and then watches that illusion crumble piece by piece. Right now, as you're listening to this, millions of men are sitting in empty apartments, scrolling through their ex's Instagram, watching her post quotes about new beginnings and living her best life. These men are torturing themselves thinking she's out there thriving while they're drowning. But here's what's actually happening behind those filtered photos. She's about to collide with a reality so harsh that her brain will literally rewire itself just to cope with the cognitive dissonance. See, when a woman leaves a marriage, especially a long one, she's not just leaving you. She's leaving an entire psychological ecosystem. You were her reference point for everything. And now, she's floating in space without gravity, trying to convince herself that weightlessness is freedom. But let's get specific, because the pattern of her regret is so predictable, it's almost mathematical. The first phase is the honeymoon with herself. This lasts anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months. She is high on her own decision. Every morning, she wakes up and mentally congratulates herself for being brave, strong, and independent. She redecorates the house. She starts that yoga class. She downloads the dating apps just to see what's out there. Her friends are feeding her validation like it's a drug. You look amazing. You're glowing. You deserve better. And she believes it. God, does she believe it? During this phase, she isn't living in reality. She's living in a story where she's the heroine who escaped mediocrity. Her phone is buzzing with matches. Men are giving her attention she hasn't felt in years. She mistakes this quantity for quality. She mistakes attention for intention. She mistakes novelty for value. She thinks this is her new life, but she's wrong. Then comes phase 2, the awakening. It starts like a slow-motion car crash. She goes on her first real dates. On paper, the guys seem perfect. But at the end of the night, when he makes his move, she realizes something that hits her like a bucket of ice water. This man doesn't actually care about her. He doesn't know she's scared of thunderstorms. He doesn't know her routine. To him, she's just Friday night. That's when the first crack appears in her narrative, but she pushes through. Because admitting doubt now would mean admitting she made a mistake, and that is psychologically unbearable. So she doubles down. More dates, more apps, more nights out. But the compliments start feeling hollow. She starts noticing how these new men talk about their exes or how emotionally unavailable they are. And subconsciously, her brain starts doing what brains do. It starts pattern matching. It starts comparing them to you. Not because you were perfect, but because you were known. You were safe. You were home. With every bad day, you start looking better in hindsight. This leads to phase 3, panic. Usually around the 6-month mark, the novelty is worn. Her friends are tired of hearing about the dating drug. Kids are acting. She's exhausted from the performance of dating. Because that's what it is now, performance. This is when the loneliness compounds. She realizes that her social circle, which was supposed to expand, is actually contracting. Married friends distance themselves because she's a threat to their stability. Single friends view her as competition. And here is a psychological truth nobody talks about: phantom relationship syndrome. Just like an amputee feels a phantom limb, a divorced woman feels a phantom relationship. She will turn to tell you something funny and remember you aren't there. She will hear your voice in her head. Her brain spent years wiring itself around your presence, and those neural pathways don't just disappear because she signed a paper. The universe will conspire to remind her of you, your song on the radio, your old t-shirt, and the silence in the house will become deafening. Meanwhile, the harsh economics of the dating market hit her like a professional boxer. She realizes that the men she wants, the high-value, stable, emotionally available men, aren't looking for a divorced mother with baggage. They have options. She is competing with women 10 years younger who don't have ex-husbands and custody schedules. The market value she thought she had, it doesn't exist. Those matches on the apps, they match with everyone. She realizes she isn't special, she's just another profile. So she starts lowering her standards. She accepts treatment she never would have tolerated from you, calling it going with the flow. But every compromise chips away at her self-esteem. Finally, we hit phase 4, the reckoning. This usually happens around the 1-year mark. The defense mechanisms fail. She can't maintain the story anymore. This is the Sunday night syndrome. Sunday night is when the performance ends, the distractions are gone. The kids are asleep or at your place. And in that quiet moment, the truth creeps in. She is alone, not independent, not empowered, just alone. She realizes she blew up her entire life for a fantasy that doesn't exist. She traded a flawed but real relationship for a perfect but imaginary one. This is when you get the late-night texts. "Hey, I was just thinking about you." Or maybe angry texts blaming you for things from years ago. It's all the same thing. It's a cry for help. It's her saying, "I'm drowning, and you're the only life jacket I remember." But here is the cruelest irony of all. By the time she reaches this stage of deep regret, something has happened to you. You've gone through the shock, the anger, and the sadness. But men process differently. We rebuild. We focus on action. So by the time she realizes what she lost, you have already started becoming someone new, someone better, someone who learned from the marriage. She looks at you and sees the man she always wanted you to be. But you achieved it without her. In fact, losing her was the catalyst that made you better. And that is the final psychological torture for her. She has to watch from the sidelines as you build the life she convinced herself was impossible, just with someone else who appreciates what she threw away. She wanted freedom. She got it. She wanted different. She got it. But she is slowly learning the hardest lesson of all. Different isn't always better. Sometimes different is just worse.